Carpe. I was recently fortunate enough to ride along with Dave, Mark, and Tom to go do a little hog hunting for a couple nights in North Texas. We had arrived on property, just met up, and were getting out of the vehicles when Dave spotted hogs, said let's go. Tom and Mark grabbed the rifles and we headed down. I thought we might have a problem with the skunk, but he thought the better of us and took off to the left. And there he goes. So we've got a couple cattle back there, one that's down in a low spot that looks like a hog wallowing when it's not. There he is. Got a hog there and a cow right there. And then we have several cattle off to the left that aren't seen here. So it was decided that Mark would be the primary shooter on this. We continued advancing a little bit further. Want to get down as close as we can to the fence. Dave got everything explained, who was going to be doing what duty for this hog. Tom was back up, and Mark was told to shoot when he was ready.
Who's your daddy?
Needless to say, he was quite excited. It turned out to be a nice 210-pound boar. The shot entered the neck and exited out of the head. Unfortunately, I had to leave before we got any more hogs on the ground, but the next night started off with Mark dropping this 95-pound boar at about 75 yards. It turned out to be a good eating size, so the boys went ahead and butchered him up, and we took the proceeds back to the cooler. A little bit later, Tom dropped this 225-pound boar at about 120 yards, and he was donated to the Turkey Buzzard Preservation Society. Now, just a couple hours after Mark took his 95-pound boar, we returned to the exact same field and found hogs under the feeder where Mark had shot his. We made our approach down a tree line that was 10 to 20 yards wide in places. It was hiding us fairly well. Unfortunately, the hogs managed to sense us, and the 2 sows and about a dozen piglets took off from us. So we had no shot there. But Dave said, hey, why don't we look in the field behind us and see if anything's there? And sure enough, there was a great big boar out in this field. But the wind wasn't in our favor, so we continued our stalk through the woods, around the field, keeping an eye on the hog as we continued our trek around, looking for other hogs along the way, before deciding to finally make entry into the field. At this point in the evening, the moon is out, we're exposed in the field, we can see each other just fine as we're walking along, and while the field looks fairly smooth, we are actually walking through clay-rich mud. So we're taking small steps, going slowly, stopping every 10 or 20 yards to scan, make sure the hog is still there, seeing if there are any other hogs around, and trying not to fall down as we advance on the hog. From where we entered the field was probably 250 yards away, and we're going to try to get to well within inside 100 yards if we can. Here we've stopped at about 80 yards. We figure this is close enough. The hog isn't in position where both shooters can see him just yet, so we're waiting for the hog to move, and then both shooters are going to try to take him. Mark and Tom stayed in this position ready to fire for the better part of about 3 minutes. And then the hog finally moved. And they pulled off a well-synchronized shot. I was really impressed with this boar. His shoulder blades felt like they were plywood inserts. Carpe, my friends.